rest of it. I get the first two letters.
Laura, you're dyslexic.
Very much so. ADHD, OCD, and dyslexia. It's the greatest.
We have it all.
It's the greatest. Timmy, we got James with us today.
Kay, Dr. Condra.
Mass Cesar. Good morning, Massar. Chrissy, how are you doing? It's from Team Sarasota. How's everyone doing? Can you hear us okay? Is that a yes? A thumbs up. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and I threw in a little Dr. Kiltz because some of you may find us on the Fertile Fireside Chat. Everything. What are we talking about today? Everything related to having babies, being fertile. The Fertile Fireside Chat. The fireplace is on the other side here, and you can't see it.
Well, it's summer, so we turned it off.
Yeah. Good morning.
Kind of hot here.
Okay, here's a good one for Dr. Fruki from Yasmin on thickening linings.
Well, first of all, you don't really need to absolutely have a lining of a certain millimeter, though we do look at linings around 7 millimeters as our ideal, but I've had pregnancies with patients with linings as low as 4 millimeters, even twins. So if the baby wants to implant, the baby implants.
So we argue about this lining thickness, but maybe we need to let it go a little bit more. We're focused too much on that lining.
Yeah.
And yet the lining, although we're looking for a triple lining, 7 millimeters or greater, it's not that critical.
No. However, there are certain things we could still do to try to help build the lining. We give it a try. PRP is one of them.
What's PRP?
Platelet-rich plasma.
Where does it come from?
Your blood. It's the growth factors in your blood, which when we centrifuge your blood, we can pick them around your certain layer of your plasma.
So it also reduces inflammation.
It does.
I heard that. Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing that we can use that we actually haven't used a lot, actually, you and me, is growth hormone.
Human growth hormone.
Yes, actually builds up the lining. And then we were talking last night about Viagra and things like that. I'm not sure it really works that well in my experience. What about you?
Well, I think we've used the Viagra and I think it's helpful. So it's I always say do something, even though we don't know which one's going to work.
But don't get too frustrated, because if you get to like 6 millimeters and we need to get to 7, otherwise we're not going to transfer you. That's not exactly.
So sometimes we're going to lead with even a little thinner lining and all this.
Yeah.
What about diet?
Oh, Jesus. How did I forget that one? Yes.
Keto, carnivore. And remember, even as a vegan, vegetarian, Mediterranean, keto, which is high fat, low carbs, but most important part is eat less frequently. That really helps a lot.
Yeah. You know the 4 things that it takes to have a baby implant? You need a good embryo.
Dr. Faruqi. But what does it take to make and help an embryo implant?
Good baby, a good embryo.
Good embryo.
Number 1.
Okay.
Kind of like a good uterus. So an appropriate receptive lining. And that doesn't mean necessarily 7 millimeters and end of story. It could be a lot of other things. A good immune system. Now, maybe like the last 20 years, we only focused on those 2 things. But we're opening our eyes now. We need a good immune system. That's why all the immune protocols are working, because these are the people that are not getting pregnant. We put them on immune protocol and they get pregnant. And then there's this one thing that even many of us still forget, the metabolics. And that's where keto rocks.
Right. Keto carnivore rocks because it reduces sugar levels, inflammation, which is really critical.
Absolutely.
One other thing about, so PRP intrauterine, Neupogen intrauterine,
that works
and human growth hormone subcutaneous, and Viagra intravaginal are all things. So ask one of our practitioners. We can help you with that for sure. Let's see. How about this? Letitia Morris, needle with my trigger. Oh,
I didn't get an 80 unit insulin needle with my trigger shot, and 80 units was my dose. I used 50 units first needle in time, then a 30 units the second. Is that? Oh yeah, of course it's okay.
You're good.
You just ended it with 2 shots, but it's not how many shots you give; it's what's the dose. So you did that right.
All right, let's see. Tikam.
Hi, Dr. Kiltz. My lining tends to thicken to more around the day 18 to 20. Can a day 5 transfer be done later? Oh yes, in a cycle, given hormone levels are in good range.
And linings as thick as 18 to 20 absolutely work for sure.
Yeah. There's no upper
Absolutely.
limit on those linings.
Right, right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Hit the subscribe, like or dislike. We're open to thoughts and ideas. Okay. Experience with successful pregnancy after patient has had an endometrial hyperplasia with atypia.
Yes. A lot. That's actually, to some degree, if you don't have children, it's a medical treatment. So we treat it with progestins for maybe 3 to 6 months, depending on your age, because we don't want to treat it so long that you blow through your window of fertility. But depending on your age, 3 to 6 months, repeat the biopsy, it'll most likely be gone, and then we treat you. And eventually just keep an eye on it.
And one of the things is the cause of hyperplasia, atypia, is a standard global diet, which is plants and sugar, which essentially damages the endometrium. And so that's why lowering glucose and sugar levels is really critical. That's why keto and carnivore are helpful, and fasting is really helpful also.
And a quick answer to Jessica Hayes there, as we just said earlier, lining cannot be too thick to transfer.
And quite often we get a baseline ultrasound and the lining is 8 to 10 millimeters, and we say, well, wait, or we give you progesterone. Is that really necessary? Do you think we can go ahead with a frozen transfer or cycle, even with the thicker lining early in the cycle?
Well, there's many ways of doing this. There is a transfer technique where we give you no medicine, and we call that a natural cycle transfer. And actually, we have really good pregnancy rates with natural cycle transfers. We give you nothing. We let you make your own estrogen. We let you ovulate. We just need to know when you did. And then you produce your own progesterone. And we just time the embryo transfer, and that's all we need to do.
And if you have infrequent, irregular cycles, even if you have a perfect lining, a 12 millimeter triple lining, a low progesterone and a good estrogen, we can simply add the progesterone and a little estrogen and get you ready for a transfer.
Yeah.
And Ronia Turner says that she found Jen Knight, I found changing my diet, normalized my cycle. Now it's always 26 to 27 days and it's regular. And go to the Mighty Tribe with Dr. Kiltz's Mighty Tribe. Really, we need your input of what are the things that you're doing that is helping reduce inflammation, normalize your cycles, and increase your pregnancy rates naturally. That's really, really important, by the way. All right, we answered that one. You guys are great. Does transferring 2 embryos increase implanting or just increase chance of twins? Chrissy
Hazim Begovic or Begovic. It definitely increases the chances of achieving a pregnancy. So depending on what the probability of transfer success per embryo is in your case, if you put 2, you will double it. So that for sure is going to increase, but then you have to be willing to accept the price of doing it. And if, let's say, the chances are 20%, each embryo gets pregnant, well, you put 2, you'll have 40%, but 20 is 1 in 5. And now you have 1 in 4 or 5% chance of having twins. So at some point, we have to look at the probability of a pregnancy occurring versus the flip side of a probability of a twin pregnancy occurring. And then we kind of make a back. Oh, I dropped some coffee here.
Oh, it's spilled coffee.
Yeah,
it's like spilled water. It's all good.
It's
all good.
So essentially, it's you have to talk with your provider.
And so okay, let's go back to Jen Knight. Okay, so thanks for reminding me to go back up. All right, been taking levothyroxine to help bring my thyroid down. I'm noticing that my cycle is becoming longer. Was always 28 days, and now it's inching close to 32 days. Should I be concerned? I'm worried it'll continue to go longer with each cycle, but if I stop the medicine, I backtrack my thyroid. So anti-thyroid antibodies, which you may see or not see on a blood test, is the culprit. So inflammation damages your thyroid, which damages your ovaries, your tubes, your uterus, and every cell of your body. So absolutely, even though you're taking the thyroid medication, it may not normalize your thyroid enough, and you still may have a lot of anti-thyroid antibodies, which the thyroid abnormalities are just a reflection of the inflammation in your body. So that's why keto, carnivore, and fasting is really important to improve that. And again, look at your nutrition. I think that's really helpful by eliminating plants, adding fat, because when you eat fat, it reduces inflammation. And so, it's normal throughout this process with all these drugs, especially using estrogen supplements, that the TSH levels are going to go up and down. Check your T3, T4 levels and check your thyroid antibodies. I think that can be really helpful.
Yeah, because what you just said is we treat the end organ that's giving you the thyroid medicine, but you want to treat the root cause. The root cause may not even be the thyroid antibodies. It's just your immune system acting up for your thyroid, but it could also be acting up elsewhere, including in the endometrium, where it might act up against your embryo. You want to reduce the inflammation that's acting up your immune system. And
can you reduce inflammation through the mind?
Most likely, yes. I would
So
say.
meditation, prayer, visualization, breath work, yoga, Tai Chi. Even we're reading Wim Hof's book on cold water therapy, and it's called the Wim Hof Method. If you've joined our Mighty Tribe or our 5 a.m. Meetup, the book is Wim Hof. Take a look at it.
So for the rest of us who are actually sleeping at 5 a.m., well, who is Wim Hof?
Well, he's the Iceman, and he's got some really amazing ideas on breathing exercises, cold water therapy, and commitment. So take a look at it, but absolutely meditation and prayer, and visualize your baby healing, health, and wellness, because too often we worry, and worry brings negative energy, which is basically
hormones. It's the stress hormones.
Stress hormones,
and
which is
that suppresses your immune system, or it basically makes your immune system out of whack.
Right. So
and then that's where you start creating all kinds of problems with auto antibodies and things like that. So that's where the link might be.
So cortisol and epinephrine go up when you're worried, and that's why you want to not worry, but wonder on the thing you desire as if it already is. And this is where prayer and meditation come in. So faith is always first. And so whether you believe in God or not, look in the mirror, and there she is, or he is, by the way. All right. Bevy, how are you doing? Arlen, good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Wherever you are in this world, thumbs up. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. And let's see. Deuterium depletion is important, right? Laszlo, right? So really important to lower hydrogen, heavy hydrogen, right? That's critical. Look at Kiltz on hydrogen and deuterium depletion. Saturated fat is bad for the liver. What are the thoughts about this claim study? Rash block. Well,
first of all, how do you study something in a world where there's a million other things influencing you and come up with conclusions?
Well,
that's like a really big.
Well,
I'm asking you that question.
Well, they're seeing fat in the liver, and the blame is liver. The fat is the cause of disease, but it's not fat. It's plants and sugar are the cause of disease, which damages the liver cells, and it damages the rest of your body. So you'll always find a study opposite of what we're talking about that actually turns out to be not true.
Well, how about a study that we do of where you park affects your survival? We're going to certainly find out.
If you park in my spot, your survival is going to be limited.
Yes, but if you park in a hospital parking lot, you have a lot more chances of dying than if you park in a Walmart parking lot. But does that really mean that the hospital parking lot is dangerous? No, it means that when you went to the hospital, you probably were sick. So studies can tell you anything.
And remember, it's like politics and religion. There's so many opposing stories, and science. Remember, science is driven by money, not by truth, unfortunately. And it's sad, but it's true. As a doctor, we're learning that doctors and scientists are very close-minded. They're not open-minded at all to the possibilities that keto and carnivore might be kick-ass. But listen, don't believe me, by the way. Just look at the possibilities of something opposite being true. That's really what we're doing here today. Let's see. Amber, do you ever see HCG go up and slightly down, then back up and turn out to be okay? Yes, yeah. We have seen that for sure. For sure. Let's see. What is tick bite and red meat allergy? Let's see. Listen, allergies to red meat is extremely, extremely rare. So I can just tell you that the number of seed, nuts, fruit, fiber, vegetable allergies are tremendous. And the leading cause of disease is sugar. And unfortunately, it's causing a lot of PCOS, metabolic disorders, endometriosis, and other things.
Do you know why the allergy to red meat is rare?
I don't know why.
Because a lot of the stuff in the red meat, the base elements are also in us. So that's why it's so rare. It's not a foreign, it's not something foreign to us.
He does look tasty, doesn't he?
That's called cannibalism.
Yes.
I come up with that idea.
All right, Frederica, let's see. Switch from intralipids to the new substance. It's the same price. The Omegaven, which is the fish oil lipids, and ask the team to order that for you when you order your lipids. I want the fish oil lipids, which is Omegaven. Try that out. Carnivore Doctor Lisa. See Lisa. Okay, Lisa Wiedemann and Kiltz. Carnivore Doctor, 11:15 on Dr. Kiltz's Facebook and YouTube. If we need to do it differently, we will, Lisa, but really excited in 1 hour from now. So join us. Ciao. Let's see. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Something like that, but it's on it.
Yeah.
Oregon's raw A2 milk and intermittent fasting and very limited. It's like my ice cream and pineapples are from time to time. That's it. The difference, Letitia Morris asked the question, what is the difference between the intralipids made out of soy and intralipids made out of fish oil? Fish oil is the one I recommend, and it's got both have eggs as the protein source. One is soy oil as the fat. It's oil, not fat. And one has fish oil, which is animal fat of some sort. But that's the real difference. And I think the Omegaven is more recommended because I don't think soy is good for us at all.
I don't know if it's available in Canada, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I'd have to look it up.
Let's see. Let's see. Rachel, you want to get
that? Rachel's 35, high AMH, no PCOS, no pregnancy for 2.5 years, with IUI, starting stims next month with CNY. Should we get a PGT tested embryo? So Rachel's going to IVF now. Oh, that's really a nice question, actually. I was surprised no one asked us that question earlier.
I haven't asked it yet.
So, okay, so there's that famous football. So what about PGT?
Well, if I took cells from you, would I find any abnormal cells?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we throw away a baby, an embryo, because it might have a few abnormal embryos. I don't recommend that personally because I've seen abnormal embryos become normal babies.
Many times. Even.
And normal embryos miscarry and have abnormal cells. So really the idea here is that it depends where you make the biopsy, and there's a lot of incorrect science. Unfortunately, listen, all science is a probability of being correct. Nothing is 100% except God, right? Faith. Let's see. Amazing Carnivores. Marie Fury. Do you want to get that? Good doctor.
Follow-up question on anti-thyroid antibodies. Mine have been above normal range since my total thyroidectomy because of thyroid cancer in 2013. Could immune protocol at CNY help mitigate negative effects? Well, once again, the problem, your thyroid was the end organ. Your antibodies are reflecting inflammation status. And immune protocol, in our opinion, in our experience too, definitely will help. We've had a lot of success with that.
And if you go to Amazon, and you can get a copy of the CMI Fertility Family Building Guide, and has a list of the immune 1, 2, 3, and 4 protocols in there. Check them out. I think they're very helpful. And ask one of our team members or tell them I would like to do immune 2 or 3 or 4 protocol. IVIG and Humira are in 4. Neupogen, Lovenox, Plaquenil, Prednisone, Prograf are in the 3 protocol. But we want to individualize it for you. But the real cause of all disease is,
at some point, inflammation.
It's all inflammation.
Yeah.
That's all inflammation. That's really it. So I'm not a big proponent, but if you want a gender, no, nothing in this business is 100%. It just increases your odds. Soy as well, Nura, Novak. Yeah, look, you have to ask specifically for fish oil. And right now it's not high in supply.
And even like just the regular intralipid, we've been having trouble recently getting obviously there's a supply chain issue. If you can't get it, just get the other one.
Stay on Cerevital once pregnant. I would say not. Do you stay on? Okay, we got that. Goods. Thanks for repeating some of the questions because they get by freaking frack here, and slow and fast.
Which one's slow? I think
yeah,
both of us are slow.
right.
Well, slow and slower
Let's
is what the
see.
word
It's
should be.
called alpha-gal syndrome. Carnivores who have this can feast on feathers and fins, aka poultry and fish and seafood. Yeah, look at you can do some fish and fowl, but you got to eat the meat. By the way, on the carnivore, really, it's eat animal based is the healthiest thing I've ever learned ever in my life. All right.
Carla Brose, 3 IVF cycles, 3 retrieval cycles, 27 years old, I guess, huh?
27.
So just 2 blasting embryos, poor eggs quality. Can we keep on trying or go directly to donor? Well, first of all, maybe we should look at your stimulation cycles. But what I see here is why do we need to go to blast? Why not day 3?
Day 3s, don't do blasts. Look at the baby's way.
Yeah.
And do that along with, remember, faith first. I'm a mom. I'm a parent. I'm a dad. I'm having babies. I'm building my family. You have to dig there and look at some of our ovarian bloom supplements for women, and also the nutritional solutions, both the organ meats and the liver. And again, you have to eat the fat. Butter makes everything better, and butter makes babies all day long. That'll help the egg quality, but also remember the sperm quality should be improved at the same time.
Yeah, so we should also look at that too, really.
Yeah, or treat it, right? I mean, that's really it.
There's a lot of damage to the sperm from environment and oxidative stress, and that might also be a problem that might be overlooked right now.
Kale is highly deadly. Kale, fruit, fiber, vegetables, seeds, and nuts of any frequency or significance, unfortunately, is not good for your egg, sperm, embryos, implantation environment. So you got to change it up. But you keep doing it until you decide you want to do something else. And donor eggs, donor embryos, adoption are all options. Let's see. Get the other one. You have to ask again for the Omegaven. And it's really new on our schedule, by the way. A lot of the nurses don't even know about it yet. So we're working to get that to the next level. How about Erlen?
Okay, hold on there. Okay. What are your thoughts on ERA for patients with a history of recurrent implantation failure? I've done 3 medicated cycles and a natural ERA. All show post-receptive results. I'm preparing for 6th transfer now. I'm not sure how to follow my ERA results. My only pregnancy was a chemical pregnancy for the first transfer following ERA. I'm scared that the transfer at a normal time, then I may have missed the window. Well, first of all, our concept of the window of implantation is changing. We thought it was very narrow, that even 12 hours could make a difference. But truth be told, we can transfer day 3 embryos on day 3, 4, or 5, and day 5 or 6 embryos on day 5, 6, or 7. So the real window of implantation is actually quite a wide window. So it's not necessarily critical that has to be to the minute, to the hour, to the 12th hour, even to the day to some point. And comes back to what we were talking about earlier, right? The 4 things that make a successful implantation.
And also, what about, so the endometrial scratch by doing a DNC can help with implantation. Creating inflammation helps the stickiness of the embryo. And then the same things within laparoscopy for endometriosis, or the medical treatment for endo, could be helpful. But you can do an ERA. It may change things a little bit. The window may be greater than we really believe. And the studies are probably suggesting that it's not the ERA number, but it's just doing the scratch that probably is it.
The other thing is, I think we're beginning to see that the real game player that is affecting implantation is probably a coating of some sort of a sticky, a slippery material right over the endometrium.
So the glycocalyx, or the glycobiome, which is the mucopolysaccharide layer, which is a sugar coating, which is critical. It gets damaged because of the nutrition, the deadly diet we're consuming as the leading cause. And of course, eliminate alcohol, excessive caffeine, coffee, certainly sodas, goodbye, and excessive tea, I don't think are good for us. So Angela brought up a comment that Immune 3, along with keto, Kiltz's keto, the liver supplements, Cerevital, molecular fertility supplements may have helped the successful next round. And always changing it up. That's a lot of what we're talking about. Just keep on changing it up.
And work on all the 4 things, but don't forget the metabolics. It's a super important aspect that is underestimated.
And I say give it up, but give it up to God. Remember, you're giving it up to a higher power, which is within all of us. You control the higher power, no one else, right? And when you change your mind, and it'll change the vibrational energy within your entire body. And you look at breathing, breath work, and meditation and prayer. It's really, really helpful.
Actually, it makes me. I just thought of something. Dolphins and all these animals that have no problem reproducing in nature, you feed them and you put them in a cage. Basically, you stress them out. Even they don't have to hunt for food. They're getting all the food in the world, all the supplements, and yet they can't reproduce. Why is that?
Well, we're all in a cage. We're all in a cage,
yes.
But it's a brain cage,
yes,
right? It's where the mindset. You have to reset the mind. It's so important. Yoga. Look at Fertile Hope Yoga on our website. Also,
the mind is a huge player in this game. You just can't underestimate it.
The mind is the master, and we're practicing this every day. Do you want to get that comment or question by Jamie Duke?
Yep. After 2 failed transfers in January, you recommended a natural letrozole cycle, but I have not been getting my cycles regularly. FSH is high. Would you still recommend a natural cycle? Well, we don't need you to ovulate as long as you're producing estrogen. Once you get to a certain thickness, we can add progesterone and
letrozole trigger or letrozole, and then you get a good lining and you add progesterone and estrogen. It could work nicely.
And we can do the trigger and the supplementation. Like this, both ways we cover everything.
Yeah, natural cycles or medicated cycles. Jessica, let's see. Can you treat chronic endometriosis or endometritis without a biopsy?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I do what I call the antimicrobial protocol, Levaquin, Flagyl, Valtrex, and Diflucan for 30 days. And that's for the endometritis. And then for the endometriosis, it's Orilissa or Lupron for 2 months with letrozole. That can be helpful also, for sure.
It's also why sometimes we recommend laparoscopy, because that helps us pick up the endometriosis.
Let's see. Jai Live. I'm getting an AMH test and I'm scared. Should I be? No, always have faith. We always are a little apprehensive, all of us, right? We're all imperfect. We're all fearful animals. That's pretty normal, right?
So the problem here is not the AMH. It's because you're scared.
Much so.
Yeah,
and I sometimes say, don't get the test. Don't do the test.
Do we really need any?
You don't need any tests in this journey. You have to have faith and belief.
The
mindset, right? The mindset. Reset the mind. That's again where meditation and visualization come in.
Hello, my partner has 2 genetic mutations. Is the possibility caused by having 2 embryos with 1 donor egg? I bought 8 eggs. Okay. My partner has 2 genetic mutations. Is the possibility caused by having 2 embryos with donor eggs? I bought 8 eggs. Well, first of all, every single one of us has 3 to 4 mutations. We have these tests, the Invitae test.
You have many more than I have.
I know sure. I do. I actually don't want to do the test because then I might be actually one of them.
You're going to be depressed.
Yeah. And then my mind will change.
It might be good.
Yeah. So every single one of us has mutations. It's not possible you don't. That's exactly how we evolve, actually. The issue is if you have a mutation and it's a rare mutation, the chances your partner or the donor that gave you the eggs has the exact same mutations is actually quite low. So at the end of the day, most babies born don't have any problems, and we never test everyone. So I don't know if you really need to worry about it that much, but you do need to look at the mutations, because if they're common mutations like cystic fibrosis or muscular dystrophy, then you do want to test the donor or have the donors are all tested by FDA. So you just want to make sure there's not a possibility that the child might get sick.
Let's see. I eat only meats, eggs, fish, cheese, butter, 4 years now, fast 2 to 3 days, twice daily, get daily sunlight, and healed hypertension, thyroid, vision. Everything goes away. I recommend.
Did you write that?
It's like I did. I recommend 23-in-1, 23 hours of fasting and 1 hour feasting. Do one 48-hour fast a week and one 72-hour a month, but mix it up if you want. You're in charge of your life and your body. That's really it. We're just sharing some ideas that you might go like, shit, I've never felt so good in my life. But I don't want to tell you, because then if he feels good, we're it's out of control, this life, right? Limor.
Is that why you keep wanting me to feel bad?
Oh, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Let's see. Let's get this one here.
I did my first Lupron Depot shot. Spilled half of it by mistake. Half was injected. Do you have any idea what I should do? You could go and just do a second shot, right?
Yeah. So just maybe do a second shot in shorter time frame.
Yeah. You can't get too much of it anyway. So once you're blocked, you're blocked. So go ahead and do a second shot.
Hypothyroid, 24 years now, no thyroid. Let's see. Yeah, if you don't have a thyroid, obviously you still need to take your thyroid medications, but look at more natural ones. Armour thyroid, desiccated thyroid gland. That might be a little bit better for you.
Because it has T3 and T4.
Yes. There's a normal to ovulate through 4 estrase, very much so. That's why I recommend, some people will ovulate on estrase alone. You can add some Lupron to reduce the incidence, or cetrotide or ganirelix to do that.
The other thing is, if you're ovulating and you're taking estrus, why not just do a natural cycle?
Well, if we're doing a medicated, and some people on estrogen, and we're not catching it soon enough. And so that's where either Lupron with the estrase or watching it a little more carefully in a natural cycle can be helpful.
Yeah.
What is seed cycling? Lauren Imand.
Do you know what that is?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know. Do you recommend seed cycling?
I don't know what that is, Lauren. Maybe you can help us with that. Let's see. We'll go down, up. All right.
All right. See, that's actually a good question there from Sam. Yeah. I failed 4 PGT transfers with you guys. Tried medicated, modified natural, did all the testing, changed diets, no carbs, no excessive sugar lining. Always looks good. Had 2 kids naturally before. I don't understand what's happening. I've done 5 retrievals. I'm out of opioids now.
Don't test. Do day 3s. Don't give up. And if it's not working one way, you may have to look at donor eggs or embryos. But
and also go back to looking at, like, now you have the right embryos. Do you have a normal uterus? Do you have a good everything else going? Are you receptive? Is your immune system working well? And even if you have the diet and everything that you're doing, is your metabolics also
right? And a high meat diet is, maybe you're having too much protein, not enough fat in this. There's some other things that may be going on, but none of this is 100%, and that's the challenge with it. It just doesn't cure everything all the time, and that's the problem. But we're always open to keep going and keep trying and doing something different. Have you had a laparoscopy, hysteroscopy? Have you been on the antimicrobial protocol, the antihistamine protocol, and the anti-endo protocol? Those are things to look at and think a little differently in this. You want to read that one on the? Oh
yeah, all right. I've had 2 miscarriages in the past month, all IVF. I've had a 2-year-old from the same retrieval. Next round, Neupogen is being added, and I have had multiple people recommend it to me. Can you explain what Neupogen does, Doctor?
GCSF, granulocyte colony stimulating factor. Thank you. Yeah. But basically, it modulates inflammation and the inflammatory cells that are likely responsible, damaging the implantation environment and the blood vessels. And so,
and we don't 100% know what it does, but we do find high levels of GCSF in the endometrium in women who are ready to have implantations. We find high levels, even, I think, isn't it in the placenta?
Right. Yeah. So intrauterine Neupogen I'd recommend, and sub-Q, along with intrauterine PRP. And think about intrauterine HCG and sub-Q also. Weekly lipids, but look at the fish oil instead. This is, again, it's a mystery. And why? Oh boy, I don't know the why, but I just say, what's a different way to do it, and check it out. All right, let's get to a Instagram here.
Laura Benny, we did IVF with severe male factor issues. About to do our first FET. Would you suggest natural totally non-medicated transfer first. I mean, if you have regular cycles, you can pretty much do it's once you achieve certain benchmarks in a transfer cycle, triple layer, low progesterone at the time that we start your progesterone. In other words, you haven't ovulated yet. I think the end result is the same. Maybe even natural cycle might be a little bit better because maybe the corpus luteum is producing extra hormones that we're not yet aware of.
Right.
There's one that's called relaxin that reduces uterine contractions and improves blood flow. So maybe there might be a slight advantage. But typically, our go-to cycles are medicated, aren't they?
Right. Well, go
Yeah.
medicated or natural or modified with an immune protocol. Always some form of a keto or carnivore nutritional change is helpful for sure. But ultimately, you know, the why. Why do you exist?
I don't know.
Why do I exist?
Oh, Mark Twain asked the same question.
All right. What was his answer?
So Mark Twain said, the most important day in your life, there's two of them: the day you were born and the day you figure out why you were born.
We're still working on it.
That one, yes.
And that's the journey, to keep working on the why part of it. But ultimately, the natural or medicated is good. But look through the family building guide on Amazon. You can actually go to our website and get a free copy downloaded. But go to Amazon and it's worth the investment. Then you
Okay,
could write all over it. You could bring it into the clinic and you could review it with the
And
nurses.
so you could argue with Dr. Kiltz, look, you wrote it. Why aren't you doing it? And
Absolutely.
he's going to say, oh, well, yeah, I will do it.
And again, we don't, because remember, even the testing of an embryo doesn't mean it's all normal. We're just testing the things we think create an embryo that will implant better. But there are probably infinite other things.
I think it's even a wrong term. We're not testing an embryo. We're trying to establish a probability of success that embryo is going to implant. It's not normal or not normal. It's a probability.
Right. And it's based on what we think are the factors that matter, your DNA, but your DNA can be changed based on the testing we do and also the environment that you're in. And we can change the environment, which we believe your DNA can correct itself, or those abnormalities aren't reflected in the transcription, translation, and the creation of your embryo. Anna, go ahead.
No, we just did that one.
Oh, we did that one too?
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep on going. Let's go down to we're all over the place here.
Look at the questions.
Ooh, lots of good questions.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Do you want to do Yati?
Yati, how are you doing?
What's the best thing for egg quality after 40? Same.
It's all the same. It really is. The what can you do to improve things? Look at our molecular fertility ovarian bloom supplements and the nutritional solutions also, and look at our keto carnivore and Kiltz's. Let's see if I've got this one over here. One more journal. You hold the coffee.
Yeah.
Look also at Kiltz's keto guide, which really will give you a better idea of why I recommend this. And all of this will reduce inflammation, increase the blood flow, and increase the egg quality. But things like Cerevital or human growth hormone can be helpful in all of this.
So every little thing you do gives you a little extra edge, and it's the sum of all the little things you do that gives you a measurable effect. Because your egg quality is what it is. You just don't want it to be worse than what it is.
And never give up on this journey. The whole part of this process is hold the positive picture of the pregnancy that you desire and never let it go. Kayla, you want to get that?
Yes, I have PCOS. I was able to normalize my cycle, lose 30 pounds with Ovasitol, gluten-free, dairy-free. CNY recommends dairy. However, dairy is damaging for me. Acne, bloating, rapid weight gain. You might have.
We don't recommend dairy, butter, and cream. But if you obviously can't, because many people can't take cow milk, don't do it again. But it's mostly the meat-based. It's really the healthiest for you, and the fat-based.
Yeah. So and something that's good for someone may not be good for everyone. So you have to adapt to how your body responds to things.
But that's a good point here, Kayla, is that many people, even though a cream and it's cream, full on cow's cream, but you could try goat cream, goat cheese, and goat butter. You may do better. It's the glycoproteins that are actually the immunogenic particles that create inflammation. It requires both the protein and the sugars, which your body says, I don't want you. And so the inflammatory molecules come out and try to get rid of it. So listen, we really are animal-based meat eaters. Butter and cream and cheeses are bottom of the line here, in my opinion.
Because nobody's really allergic to fat. Actually, doesn't even exist.
There's a fat. If you're skinny and a famine, you're fertilizer. That's it. That's it. That's it.
It's a good one.
That's it. And if you eat things out of a bag or a box, you will be in a bag or a box faster than ever. So stop buying things in bags and boxes. It's deadly for us. You want to buy fatty ribeye steaks and eat eggs, and don't forget, add some butter, because butter makes everything better.
So it's what you're really saying is the least you touch processed stuff.
And again,
processed food is a poison.
Go to your butcher, go to your local farmer, ask them for the fattiest meat, and you can always go to Emmerich and Kiltz's keto cookbook, and add more fat. And for some of these recipes, don't put in the plant material. You can keep them out of the way, by the way. Let's see. Ronia, butcher you recommend in Syracuse. Oh, yes, but I forgot the name of it. It'll come to me in a moment. I need some Syracuse people out there. Lauren, I know you're out there. We need some advice here. Don't
we usually go to Wegmans?
Wegmans is awesome.
You get most of your stuff online, don't you?
I get it from Snake River Farms, Idaho. That's number one. Or Porter Road is really good. Also,
because not everyone's living in where there's good butchers.
So Ronia got 6 weeks in normal embryo. No baby was growing ultrasound, just small sac. Closer baby. That's awesome. Again, it's inflammation of some form that's damaged the embryo or the uterine environment at some level, whether it be at the nuclear DNA level or at some microvascular level or some other receptor level. It's certainly something, or it's created a toxic environment that bacteria, yeast, and viruses are damaging. That's one of the challenges. And that's why the antimicrobial, antihistamine, and the anti-endo protocols may be good for you.
Is it okay to transfer one good, so it's from Sarah Diane. Is it okay to transfer one good embryo, like this case of 5AA, and a lower grade embryo at the same time? I have 13 embryos on ice. Well, the answer to your question simply is yes, but what about grading?
Well, how would you grade me?
What's the worst embryo quality?
Mediocre at best.
Mediocre.
Listen, judge not lest ye be judged. Judging is bad. We've seen the worst embryos become beautiful babies. He was a bad embryo, and I was worse. So I believe that the judgment of the embryo doesn't work so well, in my opinion. And so you could transfer any two embryos if it's reasonable to transfer two embryos, for sure, right?
Yeah, I could tell you a story.
Is it going to be an hour?
No, quick. So we had this couple that came to us. They went to Spain. They went to a bunch of clinics all over the place and spent tons of money, like something to the tune of $200,000. Then they came to us, and we ended up doing IVF. And honestly, really, two shitty embryos. And I called you and I said, Rob, I don't know if we can really even charge them to transfer those embryos. And you said, just transfer them. And so I said, okay, we'll transfer these two embryos, and they were really shitty. And if you get pregnant, then you can pay us. Guess what? Boy and a girl.
They paid us twice.
Yeah.
Double.
Yeah.
Double.
So just this story, what it really means is I don't think we're really very good at.
No, we're bad. We're bad at figuring out who is going to be successful and who is not going to be successful. That's our biggest challenge, is that we're bad at judging, right? B. Gonzalez, grass-fed chuck roast. Awesome. Lee, Andrea, good morning, good afternoon. Grace, let's see. Oh, so many people. Thank you for joining us, by the way. Lisa Wiedemann and Kiltz are on at 11:15. on the YouTube, Facebook channel. So join us there, please. She is rock star.
All right, let's see now. Can you be certain that you're ovulating if you have a LH positive test normally every month? Well, first of all, if you're regular every month, you're probably ovulating just there. And you're LH positive, most likely you are. It's the flip side of this that we're not sure of. If your LH is not positive, you may still be ovulating. LH is not the best thing for.
The only way to know if you've ovulated if you get
pregnant.
That's it.
Yeah.
I want to transfer more than one embryo. Can I go against the recommendations? Jeanette, the challenge is that the powers that be want to close us down if we put in too many twos and those that shouldn't. So we'll discuss it individually, but it's not generally recommended at all. Recommendations for 1 to 2 bands of synechiae.
So we do even right here in our clinic, we do surgery. We do it's called a hysteroscopic.
Hysteroscopy.
Yeah.
Right.
A resection. So we take scissors and we can cut them, or we can use like this electrical kind of like a laser thing that we can burn them. And there's many ways, but generally we just physically go and remove those bands. What do those bands do, by the way? In terms of
I don't know. Probably some people have bands and still have babies. But they're indication of
inflammation. So you want to remove them, but also you want to look at what caused them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Is it what is a good progesterone estrogen for a transfer? There's not one level, there's a large variation in that, but typically a lining, an estrogen that's developed a lining of 7 millimeter or greater, that's number one, and a progesterone typically 20 or above, but over 10 is acceptable under natural conditions for sure.
And especially if you're doing a vaginal progesterone only or a natural cycle, it might not even be that high.
Protein powders. I'm not a fan of protein powder. Eat real animal. By the way, protein comes from animals and fat comes from animals.
But a lot of those protein powders might come from plants.
Well, that's why I don't recommend protein powders at all. But ultimately, don't eat protein powder. Eat the real animal. That's what you want.
That's definitely a processed situation.
Oh yeah. If it's a bag or a box, remember it'll get you into a bag or a box sooner or later, right?
And a jar too, actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. On a mantle, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Juno bio-vaginal microbiome test pre-transfer. I don't know, but ultimately what we're looking for is inflammation on whatever the bio-vaginal microbiome. It can be helpful if you have a lot of microbes in there. It's deadly and dangerous for sure. Riley Jones.
Can you find out why mosaic embryos are labeled mosaic? What is the reasoning? And I had 5 go for testing and only 2 passed, even though they were all BB or better. So once again, grade doesn't matter. There's a lot of reasons why embryos can be mosaic. It can even be that there was some contamination that occurred in the lab.
Yes.
That and because it's DNA, like one little DNA molecule could change everything. The other thing is when we're testing the embryos, PGT does not test the chromosomes. It sort of tests a shadow of the chromosome.
Right, and it's a computer generated model. Again, we're not like looking at the DNA. It's a computer generated model that has errors, and if you repeat the test, it'll give you a different answer.
Yeah, it does. And most mosaic, especially the low levels, are actually normal embryos.
Yes. And even the high level mosaics and even other abnormal embryos we've transferred and got
and
normal children.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's see. Dr. Kiltz, Andrea, let's see. How long? Antimicrobial protocol. I usually do it 30 days, and you could do it just before the cycle that you're doing the transfer, and you could even do it up until the transfer, and then from there we stop it. Can you repeat what helps with a successful implantation, please? God's child, 03. Well,
the 4 things there?
4 things.
Yeah. Embryo quality, and receptive uterus lining, and no fibroids, things like that. What's the third one?
A good egg, good sperm, good embryo, good implantation environment.
Healthy immune system, no inflammation, well modulated, and metabolics. That's right. this comes in. That's a family building guide. I thought you were going to show us the keto thing.
Well, no, I will this and
There,
this,
this
but,
one. Yeah,
but
there
if
you
you
go.
look at both of them, that'll help a lot.
Yes.
And you could go to Amazon and you could purchase them or download them from our website on either drkiltz.com or CNY Fertility. All these things are really, really, really helpful. And increasing implant, so faith first, and then fertile fatty foods, and slow it down. There was a question about exercise or rest, and I always say, listen, slow it down. Get to the cave and rest and rest. That's it.
Too much exercise is once again a stress on your body. So that's not now a mental stress, but it's a physical stress. I'm sure that's really that good.
All right. Pooping on Carnivore once or twice a week. No more toilet paper, no more blood, no more pain, no more IBS. It goes away, by the way. Carnivore is the kick-ass, most amazing way ever in the universe. Don't believe me, by the way. You gotta be the only one to experiment on these ideas, because 99% of doctors are going to say it's not sustainable to be a lion when you're a lion, because they want you to be a pig on a sheep. Sorry. Let's see. Oscar. Let's see. Do we get that up there?
Yeah. All right. There you go. I can drink raw milk and it doesn't cause any issues, but pasteurized milk always messes my gut. Do you know doctors used to cure people from chronic disease with nothing but raw, sweet milk back in the day? Dr. Porter cured 18,000 people from severe chronic disease.
So for some people, they could tolerate the raw milk for sure, Oscar. So thank you. Let's see. We got that. How is everyone doing this beautiful Sunday, the 21st? I'm 52 days, no coffee for Kiltz. I made a cup of coffee for the good Dr. Faruqi. I got to smell a little bit of it. And
he keeps saying that he loves coffee as he sees me drinking it right here. You see?
Well, because I love him. All right. Do you have any genetic testing that can predict autism in embryos? Autism is caused by inflammation in utero and post utero. All the spectrum disorders, which are natural in humanity, but they're from a plant-based, low animal fat diet. You want to go the way, which is the baby's way. But
by the way, when we were kids, both of us, they would have probably put.
You're still a kid. What do you mean when you were?
Like really little kids.
All right.
Like both, based on what you told me and I told you, we would probably both be somewhere on that spectrum.
We still are.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Recommendation for intramural fibroids. When in doubt, cut them out. We're surgeons. Get rid of them. They're sinks of inflammation. The problem with endo, adeno, and fibroids and tubal damage, it's all sinks of inflammation. Cut them out, which will help for those that are not succeeding. Let's see. Ronia. Again, let's see. What was that? Went to the beach yesterday and it felt like a huge weight lifted off me. It's so relaxing, the beach. I was down in Sarasota. I didn't get to the beach, but I hung out at the pool. It was so, so nice. We have to get out there much more. Go for a walk in nature. Do earthwork, which is grounding. Take your socks and shoes off, but be careful for those little beasts. I got butt in my booty again. They love me. They love me.
They want to kick your ass, these little bugs.
Oh man, they because I'm so tasty. That's it. Coffee's D content is about deuterium. You're right. Laszlo-Boros, really good. When can I find the antimicrobial protocol? Look inside. It might be. Let's see. I think it's in the family building guide, but it's online. Go to CNY Fertility. We're having some internet difficulties. Sorry about that, people. Are you able to go swimming or take baths while taking vaginal suppositories? Yes. Cold water therapy, but go slow and easy, by the way. The flying climber. I've been meat only and no alcohol. Awesome. I was craving sweets last night so bad. I went and got some fruit and make Kiltz's ice cream. Listen, if you feel the need, go to Kiltz's ice cream. It's amazing. And just a little bit of sugar is all you need. Just a little bit.
Here's a good one.
Which one? Did I get that?
Where is it? Cole cake.
Okay, Cole. We'll get to muddy waters in a minute.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Cole.
Is this bad? I smoked weed. also when I got pregnant.
Let go of yesterday. Have faith that you're okay. Throw it all away and never touch it any way or any day. Let's see.
I didn't know you were a poet.
And I don't know it all the time. I'm a musician too, but I don't know that one. Some of them experience pure. So again, you want to give yourself love and kindness and let go of yesterday. That's really important, by the way. And marijuana is not good for any humans.
It's really a plant once again, right?
It's a poison, and it wants to make us fertilizer. Some women experience period irregularities and missing period after a few months of carnivore. I would say that they're healing. They've got those oxalate sheddings, but they're probably not eating enough fat. Carnivore is a high fat diet. It's not white chicken. It's not turkey bacon. It's not tenderloin. It's ribeye and butter. It's the best. And check out Bella's steak and butter gang. You'll get even more amazing shit. And Cherish, oh my God, she's amazing. But you gotta get rid of you gotta have something. Like I do a little chocolate. I do Kiltz's ice cream, and my good friend Ava visiting from Montreal. It's heaven. It's heaven.
She likes your ice cream, by the way.
Yes,
I know, and she's a very picky eater.
Oh my God. Well, listen, if you could, the ice cream solves all of your needs for something else. And fruit is deadly. Fruit wants to make you a fruit cake, and vegetables, vegetable, right? I don't like fruit cake. Let's see. 41 years young, never conceived, had a laparoscopy, hysteroscopy, appendectomy in April, high fat animal protein. It's a high fat. Yes, you're good on letrozole, progesterone, no conception. Best course of action to take now. Well, this is intercourse IVF. I mean, is that you got to look at the family building guide. Very helpful. But look at, you had an appendectomy and all of that probably because of inflammation, and you're doing the right journey, but you got to be a little more aggressive. And that's
a really, actually, that brings to mind, how long do you want to stay on one treatment before you move to the next step?
It's individualized. Each person will make that decision, but on average, 1 to 3 cycles before you decide to move on.
Yep.
But you may decide to do none of them or all of them, or never move on to the next one. You're in charge, not Kiltz or Faruqi.
I'm never in charge of anything. The nurses never listen to me. and they pretend to listen to you. As soon as you turn your back, they
right. That's it.
I think they're listening there right now.
Yes. Let's see. Alice, Sylvia. Can you answer that, good doctor?
Also, extremely good question. After a miscarriage, can I try the next cycle? Because this doctor is giving advice like wait 6 months and things like that. The answer is no.
1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
But
it takes almost a month and a half to get back your cycle, as long as your HCG levels are high. So once you have a miscarriage or a DNC, or we treated it with misoprostol, it's still, your pregnancy test is still positive for a month and a half. And you're not going to get cycling again as long as that is positive. So it does take a month and a half, almost 2 months, and then you start cycling again.
Lovenox is recommended. I think Lovenox is great for inflammation. The glycobiome, the mucopolysaccharide layer of the bowels and the blood vessels and the tubes in the uterus, is heavily negatively charged via sulfate and heparin. Heparin sulfate are really critical. So adding Lovenox will help replenish the glycobiome, and it's really, really, really important, I think. We're missing it on a lot. That's why the level 3, I think level 2 has the Lovenox also. So I think that's important. All right. How we doing, everyone? Oh, the witching hour, 11 o'clock. But we got
a minute left.
Let's get Lisa Palmer. Thank you so much for joining us, by the way. We so appreciate it.
We actually learned so much from taking your questions.
Good questions.
At what age should we give up on retrievals? AMH 3, no PCOS, 10 to 15 AFC. That's really, really good. I've got 23-day 3 embryos, 23 embryos. But after 2 transfers this summer, I think I want to retrieve and test. Transfers are brutal. Well, first of all, you know what Winston Churchill said?
I will never, ever, ever, ever
give
give
up.
up.
And that's what we tell you first. Secondly, you've got lots of embryos. Everything else looks good. Do we need to test? We just said no. Then just change a few things here and there. Remember the 4 things that make the embryos implant, and just keep going, because you will eventually get pregnant. With that many embryos, there's definitely a child there, if not more.
Rebellious Illusions, hello. Thank you very much, Abby Sunshine, for joining us. Really appreciate everyone. And you guys and gals, all humans, you guys are amazing. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We'll see you if you're going to join us at 11:15 on Facebook and YouTube with Lisa Wiedemann, the Carnivore Doctor. She rocks and rolls. She's got so much exciting, interesting things to share with you. See you then. Or again, 7 p.m. tonight on Kiltz's Mighty Tribe. If you're not a member yet, join. Just Google Kiltz's Mighty Tribe and join today. I love you. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.